Hello, everybody, and welcome to the start of a 2 or 3-part series. We are going to be going over the 2024 or 2028 presidential Democratic nomination. And I have only put 5 candidates up because I do not want to make too many assumptions on who is running. So I put 5 decently likely candidates, aka Kennedy III, Joe Kennedy III, Andrew Yang, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I forget her freaking middle name. Okay, whatever. This will not be biased. I try to make these as unbiased as I can, because personally, I would like to see one of the moderate Democrats win and not AOC. But I will try and make this as unbiased as I can. So let's start off with the early primary states. Pete Buttigieg had a very strong performance in Iowa in the first round, and he will have a very, very strong performance there tonight, with 15 of the delegates being won by him. And AOC will also win some of the delegates, as she is a former, as you could say, young girl version of Bernie Sanders. Kamala Harris will also win some of the delegates. Not very many, because this was not a Joe Biden state. This was a Pete Buttigieg state. And she is more of the Joe Biden type candidate, as she was his quote over quote VP. We don't know if she's the VP yet, but yeah. Andrew Yang would get some of the delegates. He would actually come in third, as he is a very popular candidate. Okay, and we move over to New Hampshire, which obviously Bernie Sanders did win, and I don't know why this thing is coming up. And obviously Bernie Sanders did win, and I think AOC would also win, getting 9 delegates. Kamala Harris coming in a very close second with 7 delegates. Pete Buttigieg getting 8 delegates, and nobody else getting any delegates. Okay, and we move over to Nevada. Bernie Sanders had a very good performance in Nevada in 2020, and I think AOC would continue that. Kamala Harris coming in third place, Pete Buttigieg coming in a mere second, and Andrew Yang getting a single delegate from that state. And we move over to the last February state, which would be South Carolina. And I might actually make this into a multiple part, as I do one month or election night every night. Today I will do February. Tomorrow I will do March, then so forth. So yeah, anyway. Pete Buttigieg comes out on top, as he is a known to be younger version of Joe Biden in South Carolina. Although he polls pretty bad with black voters, he is doing surprisingly well this time around. AOC will get some of the delegates, as she got 17%, which is nearly over the 15% threshold. And Kamala Harris will get 16%, which also puts her barely over. And Andrew Yang does get a surprising 20-some percent. The results are still coming in, but yeah. And Kennedy III has a disappointing no delegates, but he is hoping to turn that around in Super Tuesday. Okay, Super Tuesday. We will start off with the big state of Massachusetts. And obviously Joe Biden won it, so Kamala Harris would get a decent amount of the votes. Pete Buttigieg would also get a decent amount of votes. But AOC would become the victor from the state of Massachusetts, as a very popular Bernie Sanders state. And yeah. And then Andrew Yang will barely get over that 15% threshold. Same with Kennedy III. And Kennedy III has officially dropped out of the presidential race after a horrible performance in Massachusetts, which he was hoping to do well in. Okay, anyway. As we can see, AOC has taken a commanding lead, and that is very good for her campaign. Okay, we will move over to California, which was obviously a Bernie Sanders state, and it will be a progressive state in 2024 or 2028. Kamala Harris will get a decently close second. Pete Buttigieg will also get a decently close third, and Andrew Yang will barely got over that 15% threshold, only getting 8 delegates from the state. And we have some breaking news, and that is that Andrew Yang has officially dropped out after seeing his very, very poor performances in these multiple states. And whenever somebody drops out, it keeps the delegates there. But later, when say Pete Buttigieg or Kamala Harris drops out, it might take me a little bit to redo the map and see what delegates they had, because say I was to delete Pete Buttigieg, it would delete all the other delegates from Iowa and South Carolina. Just letting you guys know. Okay, and Virginia. Obviously, Joe Biden had a very strong performance here, but Bernie Sanders did come in a close second. So Pete Buttigieg would get a slight majority of the delegates. Kamala Harris barely getting over that 15%, only getting her 10 delegates. And in Minnesota, Kamala Harris gets a surprise victory in the state of Minnesota, projected to go to AOC from the polls. But Kamala Harris has pulled out a surprising victory in the state. And we go down to Alabama, which Kamala Harris also pulls off a surprise victory. Pete Buttigieg was expected to win the state, but he came 5 delegates short of the victory. And as we can see, AOC has a very, very commanding lead. Texas will actually be won by AOC, a very, very close state in 2020. And Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris have basically split the Biden vote, which was a really bad move on the conservative Democrat ticket. And Utah will also be won by AOC, obviously a Bernie Sanders state in 2020. And the Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg vote being split up will make it go to AOC. Same thing with Colorado. Rumored to be a decently close state between Kamala and AOC, which it was. It was a decently close state. But it was more close to between Kamala and Pete. Okay, and we move over to the state of Mississippi, which Kamala Harris pulls out a non-surprising victory. AOC does get few of the delegates, and so will Pete Buttigieg. And in Tennessee, Kamala Harris also picks out the victory there, with getting 60% of the vote. AOC does get some delegates along with Pete Buttigieg. And Vermont will be won by AOC, as Bernie Sanders campaigned a lot for AOC in the state. We can project that it will go to AOC after a long, struggling campaign there from Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders also campaigned a lot in California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Texas for AOC. And that might be all the Super Tuesday states. Oh no. Oklahoma. Kamala Harris pulls out a not-so-surprising victory, as Pete Buttigieg gets a mere second. And in Arkansas, AOC will finish in a decently close second to Kamala Harris in the state of Arkansas. Pete Buttigieg is starting to consider dropping out if he does not do a very well performance in some of these other states on Super Tuesday 2. And I don't know exactly what order the territories go, so I am just going to do them all as Super Tuesday states. So, Puerto Rico will go to Kamala Harris by a very small margin, with Pete Buttigieg in a close second and AOC in a not super distant third. We can project that it will go to Kamala Harris. In the Virgin Islands, not too much of a surprise, it will go to Pete Buttigieg, with Kamala Harris winning 3 of the other delegates and AOC getting 13, a disappointing 13% of the vote there. And Pete Buttigieg's confidence is going up a very tiny bit. Now we go over to these islands, or whatever it's called. I don't know most of these, but I know kind of how they vote. AOC will get 3 of the delegates here, and Pete Buttigieg will get the other 3, as making it a tie. And in Guam, AOC will get 4 of the delegates to Kamala Harris's 3. In DA, Kamala Harris will be the victor there, as getting 6 delegates to Pete Buttigieg's 2 and AOC's 5. And over in AS, AOC will be tied with Pete Buttigieg in this U.S. territory. And I believe that might be it for Super Tuesday 1. Should I do Super Tuesday 2? No, not right now. I need to save Super Tuesday 2. No, I am missing a state, actually. And that would be Maine. Maine. In 2020, Joe Biden fought a very hard campaign here. And I think that will help Kamala Harris win the state. AOC getting 8 delegates, and Pete Buttigieg getting a disappointing 3. Well, that will be all for today. I will most likely continue this series tomorrow. I might make a different video tomorrow as well. But I will see you guys tomorrow, and make sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Peace.